Afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. This is East Coast Sports Investors Closing Bell for Wednesday, May 10th. I am Riley Magnuson, your solo host today. I don't know what the programming is. I believe Jeff Dawson will be on here in an hour, so I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me. But nonetheless, we are back after a couple of days here solo on the solo bell with myself. Going back to yesterday, before we get to that, this one will be fairly short and sweet, as I always do say in a solo show. Probably even quicker today, though. Not many baseball games to talk about. Only 5 or 6 left that have not began or already ended today, so we will keep this one very short and sweet. Only 2 NBA games to talk about. And then, as always, I can't help you too much with the NHL game, so I do apologize that. If you missed me gloating about the Blackhawks getting Connor Bedard, well, you missed out because I was gloating pretty hard yesterday, so I do feel good about that still, and the haters can suck it. So excuse my French, but the haters have been rampant, so we won't talk more about that. But getting into yesterday, definitely my worst prediction night of the NBA playoffs to this point. I've been very solid with a lot of predictions in the NBA. Last night was not my night. It was a double whiff. As far as the Sixers really take it to the Celtics, I thought if anything, the Celtics would at least win but not cover, but they got trounced, as well as I thought the Suns might have a good chance of hanging in there, but the road woes so far in this series continue for the Suns, so the Nuggets take a commanding, and the Sixers take a commanding 3-2 lead. Going into tonight's slate, I believe both of those teams will be playing tomorrow night, Game 6 in the Philly series. They are the home team, as well as the Suns in Game 6. So tonight, diving right into it for the most part, Miami and the Knicks tonight, Game 5, as well as Game 5 of Lakers and Warriors. Talked a bit about the Lakers and Warriors yesterday. We will get there in 1 second. Actually, we can start there, and then work backwards. As I mentioned, short and sweet, so we're diving right into it. Strap in if we're going too fast. I apologize. As always, hop in the comments, and if I'm missing something or flying past something, I will circle back to it whenever I see it, so no sweats there. But starting with that Lakers and Warriors series, or game, I should say, seeing at 7.5, Golden State minus 7.5. The number has risen. They opened that one about 5 last night. It looks like is the opening number that I see. Sometimes this system is a little off. Either way, if it wasn't 5, it was 6. So we've risen from there. And really, in a situation where they're down 3-1, it's the defending champ, 4-time champ of the last decade, Steph Curry. Whatever he did in Game 7 of last series, at home with the success that they've had, the number, there's only one way for that number to go if it's at 5 or 6, and it's going to go up, and that's what we've seen here. Now, at this point here, if you're interested in Golden State, the number is far, far too inflated, in my opinion. As much as I do think they have a great chance of this, honestly, I said yesterday, if they win this one, as much as I've been against them on the road in these 2 series here in the playoffs because of how terrible they've been all season long in the road, they did manage to win Game 7 on the road. If they can manage to win, obviously they have to manage to win this one. I don't hate their chances of trying to scrap a win into Game 6, and then after that, Game 7, anything can happen. So, not saying Golden State wins the series. I guess what I'm getting at, despite if they can get this one, I think they have a chance. I think this is a little bit more too good to be true than you might expect. Again, I do very much think this is inflated. It would not shock me at all if the Lakers win this game tonight and take the series. But at the end of the day, this defense for the Lakers has had this Warriors team's number. Even in the 2 home games, there was the one game, obviously, where the Warriors were fantastic offensively. But Game 1, Lakers defense was pretty rock solid in the last 2. It has been especially. So I would expect or assume that Golden State wins this game with how good they've been at home all season long, how good they've been in the playoffs at home. Obviously, maybe offensively due for a breakout game. But again, the number is inflated. It would not shock me at all if they won this game by any means. It wouldn't shock me if they had, went nuclear, Steph went nuclear, and they win by 30. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as simple as Golden State, winning by double digits where this number's at right now. So I would tread lightly. I'm not saying to dive all the way in the Lakers. I think, the value in this series was earlier on. And then, if this continues, then there might be some, potential value. I think this is maybe the toughest game to get into out of this entire series so far. So I will lean towards. I'll go on a limb and say the Warriors win, but don't cover. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stay away from it. I think it'll land closer to where that opening number was 5 or 6, but. At the end of the day, I would advise that this one is just a tough one to get into, unless you think the Warriors are cooked all in general and you think the Lakers have a great chance. But at the end of the day, I am staying far away from that one tonight, and think it could be a really solid game, better than people are expecting, and I don't think the Warriors are necessarily going to run all the way away with it. So that is thoughts on game number 2 of the evening. Circling back to game number 1, Miami and the Knicks. Kind of expected the other night the Knicks to put up a better fight offensively. They did not. They have only the one game cracking 110, the one game they win, 111, with no Jimmy Butler on the other side of things. So this has just been a tough matchup offensively for the Knicks here. I don't know if they break out of it. They obviously need to. They are at home here. I would expect the crowd to hopefully will this team to continue this series and extend this series into Game 6. I don't quite have the same thoughts here, where if they win this game, I'm not saying they can't win Game 6. I would be shocked if the Knicks can win 3 games in a row here. These two teams are close, however, though, so I will lean towards the Knicks getting the win here, and I'm not trying to play both sides here. It would not shock me if the Heat made a statement and closed things out and continue to play the rock solid defense that they have. It's just a tough matchup for this Knicks team. Especially, their best scorers having some really tough matchups offensively for them here. So I will lean towards the Knicks taking care of business. Team total 106.5 after the woes that they've had. They're at home. So I'll lean towards the Knicks over 106, having a better offensive day. They might score 110 and the Heat could still score 113, but I will lean towards the Knicks cracking 106.5 for the second time this postseason series, or in this series against the Heat, and potentially winning this game and extending it. But not a ton of confidence. This Knicks team is kind of floundering, and their offense is floundering. I expect a lot of fire out of them tonight with Thibodeau at the helm, obviously. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as simple as the Knicks with their backs against the wall. I think this line would be a little heavier sided to the Knicks if it was going to be that simple. So I will lean towards the Knicks, but not a confident play at all. So I apologize, not giving much confidence in the NBA tonight after the other one last night from myself. But at the end of the day, these two series are just at a tough point right now. So I think both of them, if they extend, or either one of them, if they extend, there might be a way of getting into that Game 6. But at the end of the day, I am going to stay away from it tonight. As far as the NHL, I told you I can't really help you out too much, but we've obviously got 2 big Game 4s in the NHL tonight. Toronto and Florida. Toronto backs against the wall, down 3-0, as well as Vegas and Edmonton. Vegas up 2-1. Edmonton at home for Game 4 there. Another total up at 7 there. So those ones could be pretty good, pretty exciting. Hopefully that Toronto series extends a little bit more, and we get a nice, exciting series, and they give them make it interesting at the very least there. Excuse me. As far as the MLB, rounding things up and getting moving on, only 6 games that have not started. A few games final. New York 11-3 over the A's. If you've been hearing me talk annoyingly about that series, I was wrong. The A's were not going to get the Yankees in one of those games. The Yankees took it to them in all 3 of them, 7-2, 10-5, 11-3. So I was wrong about the A's potentially getting one of those. The Yankees offense, I obviously you'd like to see them do it against someone other than the Oakland A's. They've got Tampa coming up in New York this weekend, Thursday through Sunday. So that obviously is a big series to get New York back on track there. And as far as the A's, things obviously are not looking good in Oakland. these days. Colorado and Pittsburgh already done. Colorado this week been talking about the series. I've been skipping over the series for the most part. Just not really sure what to expect from both these teams right now. Colorado on the road, Pittsburgh coming off the losing streak they've had. Colorado takes 2 out of 3 from them, so I was kind of high on Colorado starting to progress and starting to play a little bit better than they did to open the series or open the season, excuse me. And I'm going to be interested. I would have loved them to struggle a little bit more, if I'm being totally honest with you, against Pittsburgh, and then maybe we'd really find some extra value on them at home this weekend, and also into next week. But we will see. I think we still could have a good chance of catching some good value on the home team Rocks. A team that was obviously very successful there the last couple of years, has a low losing record there so far this year, and could potentially turn that around starting this weekend. I think they won their last one at home, but continue that into this weekend. Detroit and Cleveland 5-0 today. Detroit, this series, Detroit takes 2 out of 3 from Cleveland. Cleveland obviously not playing very good ball. Offense looking putrid. 2 runs yesterday in their win, 2-0. Otherwise, 6-2 loss on Monday, 5-0 loss today. That offense is looking really, really ugly. This Tigers team, I think, has got a very good chance of floundering a little bit here now that they're through with this series. After the stretch that they've had, they've got Seattle at home this weekend, so interested to see what those numbers look like there. And then Cleveland, obviously, just offensively, kind of what you would have expected them to do last season was have some ugly offense. Finally catching up to them now. Obviously, they can turn things around. They've got a solid structure there, but offense not looking good at all. And then the Dodgers take it to Milwaukee 8-1 today. A few games going on right now. Miami, Arizona 4-4 in the 5th. Texas up 4-2 on Seattle in the 6th. San Francisco down 9-1 at home against Washington. Toronto and Philly 0-0, and Houston and the Angels 3-2 Astros there. Yesterday we talked about yesterday with Valdez and Ohtani. Of all the stuff yesterday, that was one of the ones I was liking was Valdez and the Astros against Ohtani there. So interested to see how today goes. Top of the 4th, Houston up 3-2. So moving on to today's action. Again, I will let's start with the White Sox. We've been keeping that theme the last couple of days. Was wrong 2 days ago, very wrong 2 days ago about Dylan Cease. Was fairly right about them yesterday, getting the win with the nice Giolito start there. In today's case, I believe, let me double check. I think this is game 3 out of 4. Yep, the fourth game will be tomorrow. It is 1-1 in this action so far. Lance Lynn for the White Sox, if you've been paying attention, has not been good. A good opening start, at least keeping the runs off the board, hits off the board, and then it has not been very good since. Leveling off a little bit, but still not very good. Bright spot last couple times, though, 10 Ks and 8 Ks, limiting some walks. Not a ton of hits, just not getting out of jams like he's used to doing in the past when he's looked as strong as, at the peak of his powers, is getting out of a lot of jams. So hasn't been doing that so well. So I will say I do think that could start to happen here going forward, especially as he gets out of these some of these tough lineups that he's faced. Last time not so much, but some of the lineups he's faced: Houston, Minnesota, Philly, Toronto, Tampa. So whether they're actually scoring, those teams actually scoring or not, or on paper good teams. Obviously faced a lot of tough offenses. Last time out against Cincinnati, 4 earned runs, but like I said, 8 Ks, no walks. So it's right around the corner, in my opinion, for Lance Lynn. On the other side of things, Brad Keller for the Royals. Last time out was a big regression start. He had a solid April, 3.56 ERA. One start with 4 earned runs, the other one's 3 or less. Last time out, however, against Oakland, 4 1/3, 11 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 4 walks, and only 1 strikeout. Should have some motivation against division rival in the White Sox, a team that he's had some scuffle-ups with in the past, and Tim Anderson. Got some decent numbers against a handful of guys in the White Sox order. Andrew Vaughn got some solid numbers. He's starting to hit really well right now, but I digress. Minus 140 is the number in this one for the White Sox. Opened up closer to minus 130. So as much as I like Lance Lynn to have a better start tonight, and that is kind of where I'm leaning, I like to see it first is where I'm at with him, as far as actually keep the runners off the bases, go 6-7 strong, only giving up 1 or 2 runs overall, and having those 8 Ks, maybe only 1 or 2 walks or so. So until we get there, that's where I'll be. And as far as Keller, you might expect a bounce back. You might not. I will stay away from this one altogether. I'll lean towards the White Sox keeping it rolling, playing better baseball overall. The pitching staff, top to bottom, started to pitch a lot better, including the bullpen. So I will lean towards the White Sox taking care of business as the Royals offense, aside from some couple. Obviously, Monday had the big outpouring, but they don't do it too often, 2 or 3 days in a row or twice in a series like that. So I'll go with a 4-3 White Sox win in this one. I think this one could be a really close game one way or another there. So Tampa and Baltimore is the next one that is actually getting going. 5:35 my time, 6:35 East Coast time. Tampa and Baltimore, Beeks versus Kramer. These guys actually have not been that great this season to this point. Beeks, in Tampa's case, obviously a guy that typically only goes 1, 2, 3 innings to start the game for the Rays. Maybe one time through the lineup, or a really solid start, or even sometimes out of the bullpen. So one of those starts where you don't really know what you're getting out of him. He's had a couple starts this season. He's making another one here tonight. So for me, I've never had success trying to judge those type of Tampa starts where they got a guy, they've got basically an entire bullpen day plan there. So I will step away from that one. Kramer, on the other hand, a nice bounce back last time out. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 2 walks, 3 Ks. So getting hit a little bit, getting outs by contact. Has been a little bit of a problem so far this year. He's got 5 starts with 4 or 5 runs allowed, and then just 2 starts with that have looked really nice, 0 earned runs, and now this last one, 1 earned run. So not really giving you a ton of confidence as far as keeping the runners off the base pass, keeping the contact down. However, you do have kind of a short price for this Tampa team that is obviously a lightning rod right now. Open -110, now only up to -118. As far as let's double check the public buy into this one, getting plenty of public buy into the to the Rays in this one. So I am going to lean with all those factors. I am going to lean, and so far this is a split series. Tampa wins 3-0, then Baltimore wins 4-2 yesterday. So kind of quietly regressing a little bit as Tampa's offense. So that's where I'll go today. Is Kramer, whether he's given up these contact or not. I could see him getting out of these jams if this offense has regressed a little bit. Again, I said it. Whenever you have a Tampa start like this, where your pitching staff is kind of up in the air and you don't know how long Beeks is going to go, who's going to come after him, I'm going to stay away from it. I will lean, however, to the Orioles taking this game today against Tampa Bay. Moving over, Mets and Reds. Mets 17-19, Reds 15-20. Verlander versus Hunter Green today. And obviously, in Verlander's case, has not been fantastic. It was not fantastic, not terrible in his first start. Only 1 start made so far. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 homers allowed, 2 solo shots, 1 walk, 5 Ks. And he is facing a Reds team that hasn't seen too many guys in this lineup, believe it or not. In Hunter Green's case, it was pretty solid actually to start the season. A little bit of regression last time out against my White Sox. 5 2/3, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, couple homers, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. So the K rate is actually pretty solid for him. Walks have not been too bad. He's had a couple starts with 3 walks or so. So a little bit up in the air there. But the Mets about -155 with Verlander on the mound. A little sketchy there. It has risen, it has dropped from a -195 or so. So if you want to respect that, then by all means, go ahead and respect that. This one is just a little goofy with Green, a little tricky. The Mets, the way they've been playing, very hard to judge. They've obviously lost 3 in a row right now. So I'm kind of throwing my hands up on this one. I expect Verlander to be solid, but maybe still only 5-6 innings and maybe a couple earned runs allowed, and points he probably looks good, and maybe a couple where he just doesn't look quite in form yet. So I'm going to stay away from Verlander until we get some consistency, get a handful of starts under his belt, and I would suggest the same anywhere else there. Boston, only 3 more left, and then we will get out of here. Boston and Atlanta, 21-16 Boston, 25-11 Atlanta. These two teams, this is game number 2 of this series. Atlanta wins 9-3 yesterday. They're cooking along right now in pretty much all departments of the game right now. Minus 170 here at home. It's actually down a little bit from where it opened. Total of 9.5 in this one. You got Bello. Where are we at here? Bello and Dylan Lee on the mound for the Braves. Lee, kind of another guy similar to Beeks there, where unless I could be wrong about this situation, they might be pulling him out for a spot start. I could be, my information on Dylan Lee could be all over the place. Not sure, still not sure what you're going to get from Dylan Lee. He is coming out of the bullpen, so making him kind of a spot start. Not sure if this is just a full bullpen day or if they're going to let Dylan Lee go a little bit longer here. This is actually his first major league start for the Braves here in his career, so not sure what to expect out of that situation. Bello for Boston, a little all over the place. A guy that 23 years old, year number 2, wasn't fantastic last year. Guy that Red Sox are hoping breaks out into an all-star type pitcher. A little all over the place so far this year. 5 earned runs in his opening start, 2 2/3 innings, over 8 hits. Bounced back a little bit, 4 2/3, 3 earned runs against Milwaukee. Nice solid start, 5 innings, 1 earned against Cleveland, and then last time out, 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs allowed, only 2 of them earned, 1 homer, 1 walk, 5 Ks. So it is getting a little bit better, keeping those walk numbers down, keeping them hit numbers not too bad. But it's still a guy that I don't know how to judge. Would love Jeff Dawson's opinion on this Boston pitching staff. Offense is obviously working. So in a situation like this where you don't really know what you're getting out of Bello, you don't really know how many innings and what you're going to get from this Braves pitching staff. Interesting to see the Braves as such a big favorites. So I do kind of respect that, and I could see their offense really taking it to Bello today. So maybe that's where I'm leaning. If you're looking at, you got to go over, you got to get a touchdown plus money, over 5.5 at plus money for the Braves. So that is a hefty number, but total of 9.5. I guess I'll lean towards that and maybe an ugly Bello start here. Let's see. Last 2 games, I'll save the second to one here for last there. San Diego, Minnesota. Lugo and Lopez on the mound for these 2 teams. Let's see. Lugo for the Padres. Solid last time out, or at least on paper solid last time out. Number of runs given up, very solid. 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. So didn't really limit the base runners, but very much limited the runs allowed there. That's been kind of the story. If he's successful, he's getting out of jams. He's not successful, it's because he's giving up base runners and the team's actually taking care of pushing him around there. So in this one, let's see, against this Twins team, their offense has been regressing quite a bit here. They've lost 3 in a row. Offense not really working at all right now these last few days. So I'm going to stay kind of on my toes with this Twins team. Not really sure what to expect if that early season success was just early season success, flash in the pan, or if we're going through a little bit of a lull and we're going to see that team offense come back. I don't know what to expect. As far as Lopez, aside from a couple rough starts, he bounced back really nicely his last time out. 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. A homer, a walk at 8 Ks after 2 ugly starts. 4 nice starts to start the season, 2 ugly starts, and then this nice one last time against the White Sox. So as far as Minnesota being favored, I think it's because of Lopez. Do I think they will win this game? I really don't know because I just don't know what to expect out of their offense. They've lost 3 in a row, as I mentioned. San Diego starting to play a little bit better. They've won 3 out of 5 here. And despite those 2, outside of those 2 losses, offense is playing pretty well. So I don't really know what to expect out of this one. I'm going to lean towards the Padres, maybe winning like a 3-2 type game. So I guess I'm leaning towards the under. But again, it wouldn't shock me if this Twins offense put up 10 runs or something like that. Maybe Lopez is pretty solid. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I'm leaning towards a good Lopez start. But this Twins offense has got me kind of in a pickle right now and kind of uncertain. So I'll lean towards another bad offensive day from the Twins. And maybe a 3-2 ugly win from San Diego. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but don't quote me on that one. Not as confident in that one. And then if you've been hearing me talk all week long, if I've been right about anything, it's been the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cubs here. It wasn't. I was more confident in an individual game on Monday than I was yesterday. They ended up getting the win yesterday. Now taking the first 2 out of 3 here in the series. Kind of leaning their way again today. Obviously, it is tough to win 3 in a row, especially against on the road against a rival like this. So I'm staying away from it. That's what's keeping me out of it. But Justin Steele for the Cubs has me thinking that he is due for some regression. He is 5-0 with a 1.45 ERA. He's got his last 2 starts. So far, 2 earned runs are allowed or less. A lot of them have been 1 or nothing. However, the last 2 starts, first, 5 starts, 4 hits or less, not too many walks. But now these last 2 starts, 6 and 7 innings, they were both against Miami, but 6 and 7 hits allowed. The previous of the 2 starts, 2 earned runs, 3 runs total. Last time out, 1 earned run, only 4 Ks on no walks. So the regression for Justin Steele has to be coming. A guy that wasn't bad last year, 3.18 ERA, but nonetheless, I mean, it's not like he's got ace level stuff out here. He is due for some regression. And if Jordan Montgomery can stay level where he's been, you could absolutely make the case that he is due for some regression. I'm not going to argue with you if that's where you're thinking with this game or this guy in the Cardinals case. So another reason that I'm keeping hesitant that would not shock me if the Cubs offense had a very nice day tonight. Because I don't know what to expect from Montgomery. He's been 2 earned runs or less in 3 straight. Very aside from one bad start against Arizona, he's been very solid across the board outside of that. So you could absolutely make the case that he's due for some regression. But at the end of the day, I will feel strong, a little stronger about a guy that is not an ace level guy pitching as well as he has or limiting the runs that he has, doing it here again tonight. So I will lean towards the Cardinals once again to get the sweep, but a little less than even these last 2 days. So. That is where I'm at with that one. Cardinals, a nice series win against their rival, obviously. Need to keep it rolling beyond this week against the Cubs. They are going to Boston after this, and then a big series next week against Milwaukee to potentially keep things rolling and get but hopefully, for their sake, salvage the season. They are obviously in a similar boat as my White Sox, so kind of rooting for them both in accordance, trying to get out of this hole that they're in there. So that is about it for the MLB slate. Obviously, a lot of games already done with, a few games in progress right now. So without further ado, we will, for the most part, get on out of here, unless anyone's got any other questions, concerns, comments. But as far as NBA, if you want the NBA, go rewind back to the start of the show. Apologies, I can't help you with NHL tonight. There are 2 tonight, but I cannot help you there. You will not see me tomorrow. I am tied up on Thursdays this month, so you will not see me tomorrow. I believe Jeff Dawson will have some programming tomorrow. And then you should see me again on Friday afternoon for a nice Friday weekend closing bell to close out the week. So thank you, everyone, for stopping by these last few days. Thank you, TJ. Apologies, I missed your comment there. Your Mets, or the Mets, needing to dig out of a hole there. So feeling for any Mets fans there. And nonetheless, obviously, I'd trade a 17-19 record with my team right now. So it could be worse. I promise it could be worse. Without further ado, I will go ahead and get on out of here. Good luck on anything remaining tonight. The 6 MLB games, 2 NBA games, 2 NHL games, whatever you're doing. Best of luck. Have some fun. Stay responsible. And I will see you on Friday, my friends. Thank you all for stopping by these last couple days.